And yeah, that's why we're gathered here today, because chrischan fucked his mom. It has now been confirmed by Chris. 100% yes, confirmo.
Someone known as chrischan, who is very well known online for various reasons that I will get into shortly, has just sexually assaulted his elderly, dementia-ridden mother.
Those that do know who chrischan is know every single part of this incredibly deep rabbit hole of depraved and disgusting behavior that's become worse and worse as you read further into it, and more recently has gone even as far as criminal behavior with their own mother, which goes even beyond what anyone thought chrischan could be.
Well, the unthinkable may have just happened. Chris might have actually harmed his mother in a way that goes beyond just a little pinching.
On the morning of July 30th, audio leaked of Chris talking about how he had sexual intercourse with his mother, Barbara, or Barb, or Barbie, as Chris has recently taken to call her.
There are rumors going around that chrischan had actually slept with his mother, and there's actually a phone call that's been leaked where he confesses to doing so.
So chrischan has been raping his elderly mother.
I've never cared so much about this sort of stuff. I always thought it was fun in games, man. But now that this come to this, I don't know what to think, man. And it hurts.
On July the 29th, 2021, audio was leaked on Reddit of Christine admitting to having sexual activities with her mother Barbara since June. The audio recording, as well as incriminating text messages between Christine and a person named Bella, showed that Christine had discussed with Bella about her sexual escapades with her elderly mother and had made attempts on stimulating her G-spot, as well as comparing her sexual prowess with several other men, including her own dad, and their inability to give Barbara an orgasm.
So yeah, she's got really sensitive G-spot because apparently I don't believe either Mr. C, any of her past boyfriends and ex-husbands, they haven't really reached and hit her G-spot really with their dicks.
Right.
They were more focused on themselves really, as opposed to focusing on her, which that's my focus.
In the conversation, it became evident that Christine had been the instigator in the sex by approaching Barbara and encouraging her to make the first move.
I approached her with care and caution, and it was a time approach. So I just gave her comfort and talked with her, and we just branched out slow and steady, and then I encouraged her positively, let her make the first move. She wanted to do it. And
she did? Really? She made the first move?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow, Barbara. How did she do it, if you don't mind me asking? What was the first move?
I don't remember exactly. Well, that was her first move, but my approach was... I forgot exactly what terminology and approach I used, but I approached with care and caution.
That's good.
And I was direct and upfront with her for the most part.
That's good.
Christine also admits that when it all began, Barbara was partially confused, probably due to her dementia. However, this confusion did not seem to deter Christine, as she admits to keep approaching her after the fact.
And how did she respond when you approached her? What did she say?
I don't remember exactly what she said, but I think she was partially confused at one point, but then she came around, obviously, with the more approaching than I was doing with her along the way.
Right. So she got into it. How was the first kiss? You kissed her? How did that feel? Having known this woman for your whole life, how did that feel?
Oh yeah, I mean it was simple lip to lip kiss contact, but yeah, it was actually good and it felt right.
In the conversation, you can also hear how Christine admits to the Oedipus complex that viewers had speculated she had, and even brought up the fact that she had had several sexual dreams involving her mother.
When did you start having feelings for Barbara?
obviously for well, for a long time. I mean, I remember even mentioning some time ago in one of my videos that I even had dreams where I had sex with her. Obviously,
Really?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's right. The Oedipus complex.
Oh, Oedipus, that's right, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
It also becomes very apparent that there were no emotional attachments to the relationship and that Christine only did it because she was horny.
And plus, also, she's very understanding about the whole thing as well. I was direct with her, still direct and honest with her. I made sure that obviously, I'm never gonna propose marriage to her at all because we're already daughter and mom.
Yeah, mother and daughter. But you recently started dating Fiona, isn't that's true, right? In an open relationship?
Yeah, it's between Barbara and I, it is an open relationship, and I made that very clear with her.
Right. Is Barbara dating anybody else?
Well, not.
No? But she's fine with you dating other people, right?
Yeah, she's okay.
In the call, you can also hear Christine hasn't gotten better since the documentary, as she's straight up saying that she has gotten the blessing from God to rape her mother.
And then everything was coming into good alignment, and
Right?
it was good. The signs were all there, and even Emmanuel, God, just said it was okay, and it actually got me towards it. And
God said this is okay? Yeah, then you don't have anything to worry about if God himself said this is fine.
Yeah, and so yeah, I gave it lots of time for myself. I was like, okay, so I'll take a time for it, so...
Along with the call, Christine also messaged Bella. She said, "Just going ahead and sharing this with you, fresh experience, on the strictly confidential just between you and I. So yes, Bob and I just had another romp in the hay and an extensive cuddle. Tonight I started looking into a more consistent pattern for my massaging, and I took the input and focused on getting blood flow into the groin area. Before tonight, I did not really have a set pattern in the massage, aside from feet and legs, followed by hands and arms, the face, front torso, and then a rollover for her back. I have found a more consistent method that works between the legs and arms, but I was inconsistent in the hands and feet. Anyway, also made another attempt at rubbing her vagina externally at first, then slipping in between the lips and rubbing the inner labia. Then she told me to stop. She's getting more used to being played with down there by hand. Would you believe she has literally never ever masturbated in her entire life? And obviously those out of the 8 guys, counting Robert Chu, before me were not hitting her G-spot as much with their cocks. I had attempted the first night to rub her in there. I found her spot, but it hurt her. But alternatively, I did find that at cunnilingus, I was good at it with my tongue. And I did also stimulate her clit. That does not seem to hurt her as much. But she still has a limit with that spot as well. Anyway, we're making progress. And when we cuddle, and this actually impresses me more, I literally feel our souls bonding and coming together as one during that time. Damn, it feels so good when that happens. And we talk a good while as well before she heads back upstairs. I have been sending her meditation tracks to stimulate her brain and bring back some of her youth, and the results do show most splendidly. I am so proud of her. And from her stories she told me tonight, she even remembered a fun story that involved her daddy from when she was 2 years old. 2 years old. That in itself at her age is massively good. She had her memory problems at time beforehand, yes, but she's being better stimulated in her mind and soul, and it really shows. Her mental processing speed is even going back up. She feels this and has told me so herself. And I am so happy and content that I am able to help her out like this. And it helps me as well because of the experience and the education and learning. Reading these texts, even if one hasn't seen Barbara's mental decline over the years, it is clear that she's struggling with some sort of sickness like Alzheimer or dementia. Christine admits that Barbara suffers spats of confusion and memory problems. Depending on how severe Barbara's mental state is impacted by this, Christine could have committed statutory rape, as Barbara would not be in a mental state to knowingly consent to the intercourse. Furthermore, in Virginia, it is a criminal offense to engage in incest. Sexual activities between a parent and a child, even if both parties are willing, is a Class 5 felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison. On July the 30th, the Greene County Police was called up by several concerned people who learned about this leaked audio. The station claimed to have gotten over 100 calls about this. As a response, they went to Christine and Barbara's home at 14 Branch Lane Court for a wellness check, at which point Christine was issued an emergency protective order forbidding contact between Christine and Barbara and preventing her from remaining at the residence until the 5th of August. Barbara was then taken to the hospital for senior care inspection. On the same day, Christine had a conversation with a man called Dylan Thomas. Dylan confronted Christine about the authenticity of the recording. "Chris, you know I hardly ever hit you up, but I feel that this needs explaining. Can you tell me what this is? Keep faith and distance yourself from the drama and chaos going on today. Know that remaining bad vibrations of the world are being sorted and weeded out today. A detail that fell into wrongest of hands can light the paths for the good intentioned and light-powered individuals. Chris, did you do it? Yes or no? I have been cool with you and have tried to treat you like a normal person. I think that you can at least return the favor with an actual response. I'm gonna have to talk about this, and it would help if you could explain this to me. I'm not at liberty to discuss about this, and I ask you, please, Dylan, to not drag yourselves into a drama as well. This is a test of the remaining weeded out toxic individuals who would take advantage of such details. You and Taylor are stronger and better than this. It bothers me that you can't say yes or no, Chris. I know the audio was messed with. I just want to know if it's true. I will trust you with the simple answer then. I ask you both to please not screen cap or share even this simple answer. Yes. This is my test for you both as well. Please prove me right. I won't screen cap it. It was initially planned that Christine were to stay with her extended family until the 5th of August, where the emergency protective order would cease. But upon finding out what had happened, the extended family withdrew their invitation. On that day, both the hashtag chrischan and chrischan did what started trending on Twitter all over the world, reaching the 4th overall trend, exposing a massive new audience to the world of Sonichu and Christine. On July the 31st, Null on the Kiwi Farms dropped a private conversation he had had with Christine. This conversation went all the way back to the 5th of July. In it, Christine admitted to having found a sexual partner who was older than her. Various things in the conversation hinted at the relationship being with Barbara, such as her age, her former job, and more. Christine admitted to having sex every 3 nights.
I've been doing it every 3rd night, and the first night being on June 27th.
Oh, you have a routine? Oh.
Prior to this, Null had set up a GoFundMe for Christine so she could go to a My Little Pony convention, Everfree Northwest. The idea of the GoFundMe was so Christine could do various tasks and get paid for doing them, to teach Christine about the value of money and the work that goes into it. These tasks would be everything from art to shoutouts. Upon finding out Christine had lied to Null, as well as Everfree Northwest writing on their public Twitter that they were gonna take steps to protect the vulnerable, Null shut down the GoFundMe and refunded the money to all of the donors. Christine has allegedly also stolen $750 from her mother's bank to pay for her stay at a hotel. Many people who has partaken in the documentation of Christine's life has commented on Christine's relationship with her mother being odd. Even back when Christine was being approached on her date by a man in a pickle suit, the people involved all commented that Christine and Barbara were very touchy-feely with each other. Later, when Barbara and Christine would go to court, people made the same observation again. That, coupled with the clear signs of an Oedipus complex that Christine displayed in her day-to-day life, the writing on the wall was there for a lot of people, but most assumed that both parties would at least not act upon it.
Just you. Oh, because I love you. Oh, yeah. Okay. You know you're very pretty. You're always pretty.
But with Barbara now so far gone on her dementia or Alzheimer's that she seems unaware and confused about what's going on in her life most of the time, and with Christine believing she's an actual goddess amongst all the different multiverses as decreed by talking video game consoles, the real world and its consequences seem to have all but disappeared for the two. As it stands now, we do not know what the future holds for Christine and her mother, but whatever it is, it will probably be best for the two to be separated from each other. Before, it was theorized that while Barbara was a horrible person in her own right, at least she kept a hold of what little of Christine's sanity she could. But it may now seem like she may not be capable of that anymore, or maybe even worse yet, have actively enabled Christine's delusions, due to Christine being the primary source of income for the household. Whatever happens from here on out, we'll have to see. But this is a dark day in the world of chrischan, and the perfect storm is still going all too strong.
Give it a hug. Give me a hug. Show him a hug. Give it. Come on, both arms. Okay, let me go. Oh, no, wait a minute. Turn me loose once. I'm thirsty. Come on. Just say it once. Turn me loose. Turn me loose, like you're supposed to say turn me loose, you silly goose. Turn me loose, you silly goose. You used to do that more flirtingly.